Hey, everybody.
Hi, welcome back.
Welcome to season
Season
3, episode 2 of Fork, Mike, Knife. Before we bring them into the frame, let me tell you a little bit about our guest this week.
Do it this way.
We're professionals.
We are.
Hey Monea is a power pop trio formed in 2005 in Canton, Ohio by the brothers Dan and Nate Monea. So Dan is on lead vocals, guitar, and piano. Nate is on drums and vocals, and they're joined by Adam Oren on bass. They've opened for Bruce Springsteen in the, did I say that right? Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah, you got it.
In the famed London Calling Festival. They've played on the Rock Boat.
Yay.
The 311 Cruise, Rambello. Pretty sure that was Rambello 1, I think.
We were on 2, I think.
But we know them best from Off the Record. They were an anchor band in 3 out of the 4 years of Off the Record from 2015 to 2018, I think.
Yeah.
They have 3 studio albums, Wine, Woman, and Song from 2009. Cheap Souvenirs, 2013. And the 50, 2015.
Yeah.
They founded the Little C Festival in Canton, Ohio in 2018. Hopefully we'll hear a little bit more about that. Many of our friends have played the Little C. And recently they opened the Little C studio in their backyard in Canton, Ohio. And they've been producing music from people that we know, like
Megan Farrell.
And David Higgins from Charleston.
Yes.
So let me bring Hey Monea into the frame.
Thanks.
Hey guys.
Hi,
hey Nate.
Gentlemen.
What's up?
How are ya?
Howdy.
We're really good. We're just realizing how closer our circles of musician friends get in understanding, obviously, our relationship with Megan, the festivals we've done together, and then being friends with David Higgins, and then having him in your studio. It just it's a circle that just keeps getting tighter.
Yeah, it really is. It's a family.
It really is. Yeah.
It's been really cool, and I really enjoy that. Well, sorry.
There we go. And then when Nate stands up, the logo's in his face.
You're all good. It's all good.
There we go.
It's all
PPP, tall people problems. So yeah, I love the family vibe. You know, it's been that way with all the festivals and the rock boats and all that kind of stuff. Like, you know, we are lucky enough to be a part of all these events with really talented people, and it ends up you're in these situations where like you spend 2 or 3, 4 days together, but you make like these lifetime friends.
Yeah, absolutely.
No doubt.
And
so you transitioned from, you know, being a band and touring, and then starting your own festival, being part of, you know, other music festival experiences, into producing. And we have found that to be just a fantastic fit for you guys, just watching what's come out of your studio.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah. You know, it's one of those things that we started doing that I can't believe we didn't do sooner.
Yeah.
Because we've always had like a little bit of a hand in the production of our own music, and always had really cool ideas for things that we should do. And it just took someone with really the ability to process all the technical information, like Nate, who is like, he combs over a subject and then just decides to become good at it.
Yeah.
And so
well, you're not afraid to try things either. I mean,
no, absolutely not.
Come on, the match in Megan's,
match.
That's just crazy cool. It was so perfectly timed too.
That is the our favorite thing to do in the studio.
Yeah.
Is literally just, we don't know what belongs here, so let's try 30 things. 29 of them might not work.
Yeah.
But that one.
Megan romanticizes that a little bit too, because I probably lit and put out 25 to 30 matches.
It was a process.
It was a process.
We had to figure out the best way to put it out was the problem. Because once it's lit, it sounds good, but you wanted that sound of the fire extinguishing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to we got a little cup of water.
How to mic a match.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
You can write a Google page on that.
We were this far away from the mic, then this far away, then this far away, and we had regular paper matches. Then
Right. I was going to say, was there a variety of matches?
We tried a paper towel at one point and lit it on fire, but then realized that goes up really quick. So you have to be prepared to put it out fast.
Danger.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's funny.
Well,
Well,
cool.
among other talents that you have,
You
you know,
cook.
this is something that we all share, is that love for food and experimentation
Yes.
with fire seasonings, meats, veggies. So tell us about what you're making today.
That's a good segue.
Nice segue.
We're professionals.
We've done
So-
this 20 times.
I love it. We're going to make one of our favorite dishes, which is maybe not the exact traditional way, but it is a riff on a massaman curry.
Mhm.
So,
Cool. Did you have that someplace and then wanted to recreate it?
yeah, there's a restaurant in our hometown called Basil Asian Bistro,
Oh,
Cool.
Yeah.
and it is so good. And they do theirs with sweet potato. I'm going to omit the sweet potato today just for ease, you know,
Yeah.
to facilitate. But it is absolutely amazing. It's the perfect, like, savory, sweet, little hint of sweetness, crunch of some peanuts.
Yeah.
A little bit of sour. It's just, I just love it so much. I'm a sucker for curry anyway.
well, that's good.
Cool.
Well, you know, our goal is always to pair something with whatever the artist is making as a main.
Yeah.
So, Billy, you want to walk us through what you're making today?
Yeah. You know, we'll kick things off with you guys starting. And then I'm going to make an aloo gobi,
Aloo gobi.
which is a cauliflower and potato side. It's got coriander and
Oh, it's got a
cumin,
ton of spices.
bunch of stuff. We'll walk you through all the spices.
Yeah.
And then what are you going to make?
I am actually going to make homemade naan.
Yes.
And so, yeah, we ran a test run yesterday, and yeah, it's all gone.
Normally, I like to make naan. You know, I would cook it on the grill,
Mhm.
which
Yeah.
is fun, but we'd have to go outside and
And
come
it's
back.
cold.
And it's cold out there. So we're just going to do it, you know, on a pan,
Yep.
which is a traditional way of doing it.
Yeah.
Did we lose you? You coming back?
Did we lose your camera?
Obviously, your camera's coming back now.
Okay.
No worries.
Well, when you guys come back up, unless you want us to start, either way is fine.
We are happy to start. I think problem-solving team has got it under control.
No worries. That's why you have a crew. I just have to remember to flip the camera back and forth.
Yeah. The
One second. We're almost there.
almost there.
Whee!
No worries.
We have
Well,
the
I find it interesting. Is there a variety of curries? I mean, I know there's red curry and green curry. You know, maybe people don't understand there's such a variety. What makes yours a little bit unique?
So I just I have tried to absorb as much as I can from all of the curry culture. You know,
Yeah.
like I fell in love with Thai curry because you know, there's a little bit of freshness combined with that like stewed flavor that's just, you know, is like all of the combinations. And so with ours, I'm going to use red curry paste today because I'm a spicy person. I want to take this to about, I would say, a 6.5 to 7.
Wow.
Hoo-ah.
Yeah. You know, you got to know your audience. When I cook curry at home, I probably take it down to about a 5. If I'm cooking for a group, I take it to like a 4. But me
Yeah.
personally, and when I order it at the restaurant I'm talking about, Basil, they
Yep.
have a,
Yeah.
a 1 to 5, and
You asked for a 7.
I cannot do the 5 there.
Oh,
I hit the
wow.
4 several times,
That's
and it was like tears in the eyes. Your nose is running. Like it's a whole thing.
And you
You-
like that?
You like to sweat.
I do. I really
Interesting.
enjoy that. Like the endorphins. I just enjoy the whole
I like spice, but I don't like it that hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it impedes the taste,
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know,
I have to
but-
back off.
I want to go as spicy as I can while still enjoying all the other subtleties of the flavor.
That's good.
Gotcha. All
All
right.
right.
Well,
Well,
let's
give us a
turn
go
it over
here.
to you and we'll get started.
Cool. Can you can see me now?
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Excellent. So I'm going to start just by heating up some olive oil here. I've done most of the prep for my onions and garlic. So that's already done. I like cast iron and Dutch ovens. I cook almost everything in them. I'm not going to be shy with the olive oil here. So the goal here, once this gets hot, I will add the onions and the garlic. And I want to toast all of my spices that will become the flavor base for the curry with the onions and the garlic. Just because, you know, dry spice tends to have a little bit of a bitter, kind of uncooked flavor. And so I want to get that olive oil nice and hot, add the onions, and then I want to toast all the spices with that. And it just brings out the flavor even more and takes that kind of bitter edge off of it. So I will set these over here. I'm going to be using a little onion powder, Kashmiri masala, garam masala, garlic powder, chili powder. I'm making this up. I will try to put together a recipe to share with you guys. But a little bit of turmeric. I love turmeric. And then, of course, some curry powder. And I will use curry powder and curry paste to make sure that there is plenty of curry flavor in this. So here we go. I think our oil's hot enough. I'm going to start cooking the onions down. I don't want to brown them, so I'm going to stir them pretty consistently. I just kind of want them to get translucent and soft. I do kind of do this different every time, and that's okay. You know, you just kind of have...
Hey guys, we've lost your camera.
Please.
What do you want to do?
There you go. Go on. There we go. It looks like we've lost.
Yep, we lost their camera. I'm not sure if they can hear us. What we're going to do is jump right in.
Yeah.
And that way, when they come back to us, we know they're in the process of sweating some onions. So we'll jump in and take you through the beginning stages of the aloo gobi.
The aloo gobi. So we said that aloo gobi is potato and cauliflower. So I've got my potato here. I didn't dice it ahead of time because if I did, it would change color and so on. But I was able to do that with the cauliflower, and then the rest of the stuff that we've got here. Normally, what I would make is 2 whole potatoes and a whole head of cauliflower, but it's just Cheryl and I and Cheryl's mom. So 1 potato, half a head of cauliflower is enough. I've got 1 whole onion. This is 2 tomatoes. And then what I've got here is about half a teaspoon of whole cumin seeds. And you'll see we're going to toast those after we're done cooking the potato and cauliflower. We've got about 2 tablespoons of, this is ginger and
Garlic
paste all mixed together. So in the last episode with Keaton Simons, we made some catastrophic crash.
All right. Go ahead.
Okay.
Keep going.
No worries. The boys are rebooting their computer. They just texted, so they'll be back here in a minute. The rest of the stuff, we've got turmeric, which makes sense. I'm using a tamarind paste, giving it a little bit of tartness, a little sourness. Yeah. And then I've got cayenne pepper. I've got a little bit of garam masala and a fair amount of coriander. So that's coriander powder, and then obviously cilantro, which is also called coriander, fresh coriander leaves that are chopped up. And so what I'm going to do right now, let me go ahead and
you take a peek.
See if the boys are back in.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hi. Hi. We went ahead and just jumped right in, and Billy has gotten them through our ingredients. He's going to go ahead. We're going to mute, let you guys pick back up. I know you were sweating your onions.
Yes, I'm sweating my onions, and I actually just added the garlic to it.
All right, cool. Keep going.
So we got the garlic and the onions going, and they're probably soft enough to start adding the spices now. So one at a time. Oh, what I was going to do is start with salt and pepper.
I had something important to do too.
What were you doing?
Refilling my wine.
Oh, that is important. So I think it's important to season every step of the way, and also obviously continually check your seasoning. But particularly when you're dealing with dishes with a lot of spice. And when I say spice, I'm not referring to hot spicy. I'm referring to, we're going to be using a lot of heavy spices for these dishes. So I'm going to start with a little onion powder. Again, I'm not really measuring. I kind of do what I feel like looks good. That was probably 3/4 of a tablespoon of onion powder. Here's the Kashmiri masala.
Seems pretty precise for not measuring. 3/4 of a tablespoon.
I wish we could smell that. We have some viewers that are online, guys. They are just glowing about how sweet you all are.
Aww.
Dan, let me ask you a quick question while you're doing that. We prefer to, if you will, cook our spices just like you're doing. And I think it takes some of that kind of raw or powdery essence away from it by allowing it to come up to a temperature within oil and whatever vegetables you're using.
Absolutely. There's certain things that you cook with frequently that you never want the raw flavor of. And I think like raw, dry spices like that just can really, if you add them too late, really just adds a weird raw taste. Like if you think about cooking with tomato paste, how weird that metally taste is. You need to toast the flavor out of it. Or even alcohol. I mean, you cook with alcohol. I'm going to add a little bit more olive oil here.
Oh, no, the alcohol piece is a great point to bring up. We like to obviously add wine into some of our dishes. And honestly, if you don't cook that rawness out of that wine, it doesn't necessarily sit well on the palate.
Yeah, for sure.
It's overpowering.
So I'm adding the turmeric now, and I'm going to add the curry powder next. And these spices just give it such a beautiful flavor, but also it gives that like rich color that you always associate with curry. It's like beautiful. Oh, it smells so good in here.
When are they going to invent smell-o-vision? I'm ready.
We're waiting for it.
All right, so my onions and I'm going to add a little bit more olive oil. Make sure everything doesn't go too dry. My onions and my garlic and my seasonings are toasted. And that smells very nice. So I'm going to add my pork now, which I used a pork loin. It's nice and tender pork loin, and I sliced it basically as thin as you can possibly slice it. So I was talking to you guys a little bit earlier. When you go to your favorite restaurant that serves curry, a lot of times what they do is called velveting the pork, and they do it with chicken too. They do it with beef too, but when you go to the restaurant and you just have that extremely soft, beautiful, velvety piece of pork, what they're doing is they make a slurry of cornstarch and water, and they literally just dip the thinly sliced pork or chicken in that slurry mixture, and it coats it with cornstarch and water. And then you have a pot of boiling water over here, and you use a spider or like a big spatula with, kind of like something like this, where you have thin holes that it won't seep through. And then you just quickly blanch it in water, and it just creates that super smooth velvet texture. And with, thinly sliced pieces of pork, you don't want to cook it very long. You want it to be literally just done. And as soon as it's done, you don't want to it'll overcook very fast.
Yeah, pork is extremely lean. And without that fat in it, it doesn't take long at all.
Yeah.
I bet
So
it smells good there.
I would typically wait to put any of this broth in, but I'm getting a little bit of buildup of the spices on the side of the cast iron. So I'm just going to deglaze it before it burns. Get a little water in there. And we're not really trying to like sear this meat and put color on it. We're just trying to cook it through and make it tender. So it's not a big deal to add liquid at this part. You know, typically when you're cooking meat, you want your pan to be as dry as you need to get a sear, but that's not the goal with this particular dish. So we've got our pork basically almost cooked through. And while that is finishing cooking, before I go to the liquid portion of the curry, seems like a good time to maybe kick it back to you guys and start on your dish.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so at this point, if you can bring it down to our potatoes, we're not trying to cook them all the way through. We're just trying to get a little bit of color on them. And then what I like to do is I'm going to cook the potatoes separate from the cauliflower and get a little bit of color on both of them, pull them out, and then we'll begin, just like Dan was doing, we're going to begin to put our spices in, build some flavor, and then we're going to add the potato and cauliflower back in there. I'm bringing the cauliflower down to about the same size as our potatoes. Little dice. And we're looking pretty good on our potatoes, I think. We're gonna, once we bring the spices into it, we're gonna cover it and let it simmer for the final cook. So I think we're pretty good there. What I'm gonna do now is take our potatoes out. I want to get a plate. Nope, I'm gonna put it right in this bowl here. Cheryl's doing it.
Just helping.
Wash your hands. All right. So we got a little bit of color on our potatoes. We got them started. We'll set those aside.
More oil.
I'm going to add a little bit more oil, olive oil, and we can go ahead and get our cauliflower going. There we go.
I feel like both of these dishes are relatively simplistic in nature. It's really about finding a palette, finding those spices you like, and Dan, to your point, making it your own. Everybody can start with a recipe, but it really does kind of play to what your strengths or your likes are. So I really dig the fact that you don't necessarily have to go by a specific recipe.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think the other point that Billy made earlier, and we'll talk about that when I make the naan too, is not being afraid to half a recipe. Sometimes it's a household of one or two, sometimes it's six, right?
Right.
And unless you want to do a full version of a recipe and be able to have leftovers during the week or freeze some for later use, go ahead and feel good about half in a recipe.
Yeah. Typically, my wife and I do a lot of meal prep during the week. So I usually double a recipe. If I'm going to take the time to cook something on a Sunday or a Monday, we're going to eat it through Wednesday.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, for
we
sure.
do that a lot, especially with something like a curry that holds up well in the fridge.
Yeah.
Not to interrupt what you guys are saying with here, but I am going to add my red curry.
Please do.
Here. We always meal prepped a lot, but especially with, you know, the pandemic and everything that's gone on the last 12 months and the uncertainty of how often we'd be working, I probably added about 2 tablespoons of this red curry paste.
Wow, that looks great already.
But you know, we've decided to figure out ways to be more economical with our cooking and with our grocery shopping and, you know, with our drinking also.
Plus, we're at home. And then
Well,
we work
you know,
in my backyard, so
we've
the only
been
time we
doing,
go out is the grocery store.
well, we live on a sandbar, so we don't always get everything we're looking for, but I think we've been pretty fortunate to get the stuff we like, and even be a little adventurous. I think we lost your camera again, guys. There you are. Hi.
There we go.
You know, the one thing is, I think we have always cooked fresh in our household, but we've gotten really smart about being like more veg forward during the week and then saving the weekends for, you know, full on pork belly, you know, more meaty kind of meals.
Yeah. So I typically, for the start of our week, I do a lot of slow cooked things.
Oh yeah.
And I'll generally start something in the slow cooker on Monday before I leave for work. And I do a lot of like Mexican style things. I love like slow braised chicken thighs, and I do carnitas and slow cooked like barbacoa style. And I love that stuff because it's super versatile. It's really flavorful. It's easy to set up, throw in the crock pot, and leave it on there for 8 hours or 9 hours till one of us gets home from work. And then that's something that we can add to rice or add to salad or beans or anything that you want to during the week for quick, easy meals when we're both working full time.
Yeah, carnitas is one of the things I regularly make too.
Yep. I'm going to turn it back to Billy for just a second.
Okay.
What are you doing now? I know your cauliflower and your potatoes are done.
Yeah. So what I did is I turned the heat on this pan. I haven't cleaned it, so we've got good flavor going there. But I've got the cumin seeds, and I just want to toast those in this oil.
Yes.
So we're just going to get them moving around in there. Get them covered well in the. Oh, you can.
I bet that smells awesome.
All right. You almost want to get them crackling.
Yeah.
So we're doing good there. Again, I turn the flame down because you don't want it hot because you can burn these real easy.
Right.
We got a nice toasted color on that, and I'm going to go ahead and add our onions, and we're just going to sweat those just like Dan was doing. I can throw it back to you guys.
Yeah. What's the status?
I toast sesame seeds a lot, and I would say that I burn them like 50% of the time.
Same thing with pine nuts here on this side.
Oh yeah, for sure. Hey Nate, will you go ahead and measure out 2 cups of rice?
Yeah.
And add that to the boiling water back there. So I'm going to start to build the liquid portion of our curry. Again, I'm not really following a recipe, and I'm kind of winging it, and I pay attention to how thick it is and, you know, how it's looking as it starts to boil and stuff. So I will try to enumerate what this recipe is in more specific terms when we're done with this, but maybe with my knife, my butter. There we go. So I'm going to add first 1 can of full fat, no bullshit coconut milk. Don't get the reduced fat.
Is that what it says on the label?
Yeah. Don't get the reduced fat, reduced anything. Just get coconut milk. It's delicious.
Never get the skim coconut milk. Always full fat. It's good fat.
It's good fat. And it's just so delicious. I'm going to bring my heat back up here because I want all these liquid ingredients to boil. So I'm turning this back up to 8 or 9. And that's already like starting to take on that beautiful color that you'd expect out of a curry.
Can I just put that in a mug and drink it?
Right? I think you could. That's why I do this, probably a version of this at least once every 2 weeks. I never get tired of it. I'm adding a little bit of chicken broth, probably a cup. Start to boil that. I'm going to add a little bit of soy sauce just to get that nice umami richness, saltiness.
Umami.
So, Dan, we have Talicia from Canada on the stream as well. Billy spelled Canada wrong, just so you know. He spelled it the Rochester, New York way.
Oh, Canadian.
Anyway, I know from being up in that area myself, there's lots of good curry. So I'm kind of jealous of not being able to visit my Canadian friends.
Oh, yeah. You know, I'll tell you where I had the best curry I've ever had in my life is London.
Sense to me.
Oh yeah, that makes total sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was not totally thrilled with most of the. My London friends are going to hate me for saying this. I had some really good fish and chips, and turn it back down to medium and cover it. But like a lot of the food I found kind of bland and weird.
Yeah.
But my God, the Indian food and the curries were just amazing.
Yeah.
Some of the best I've ever had in my life.
All right. Well, I can give you a really weird location that you wouldn't expect, but it was good. Was Provo, Utah.
Really?
I'm not kidding. The restaurant was incredible.
Wow.
All right.
Mormon curry.
Possibly. I don't know that the family was from there.
So I'm going to add some natural chunky peanut butter to my mix. And this is a little bit of a cheater. It's sweet and it's salty already. And I just think it adds a really good richness. And
I'm going to add a little bit of that peanut butter in my face.
we put some in the pot first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So I'm going to add probably like 2 tablespoons, 3 tablespoons, maybe 1/4 of a cup. I don't know, it's delicious. And we will garnish with peanuts too.
Oh, absolutely.
Traditionally, the Massaman curry is onions, sweet potatoes, peanuts, and whatever else. But I just think adding a little bit of peanut butter is almost like, it's almost cheating. It's too easy and delicious.
Well, it's just a whole different depth. We did a Thai-inspired peanut noodle dish last night. So I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
Very good.
I love that.
Billy started layering all the spices in. As you can see, we've taken on just a little bit of a different color now that turmeric and the tamarind paste is in.
And we also have our garlic and ginger in, so you really start smelling all of that coming up.
Kitchen smells amazing.
I love tamarind paste.
Yeah. Is that the heat?
Yeah, that's a little cayenne.
Little
So that's our
cayenne?
heat.
Alrighty. What's next on your side? Does that have to cook a certain amount of time from the sauce perspective, or is it just kind of automatic?
You know, honestly, no. Typically, you know, the longer it goes, the better it is. But
Right.
part of the reason we slice the pork as thin as humanly possible is that we don't need it to braise. We don't need to break down all the tendon material. But we sliced it so thin that it's going to be tender no matter what. So it's ready to eat essentially now. I'm going to give it another 10 or 15 minutes or however long we have here before we eat it, just because those flavors will come together and they'll marry, and the rice is still waiting to be cooked, but you could really eat it right now. I'm going to check for seasoning though.
All right. And
Always.
we're going to have Billy finish his part of it, and then we're going to move over to the naan bread.
Nice.
A little bit. This is our coriander and cumin. is going on now that we've added everything else. Added our potatoes and cauliflower back in, and we're going to top it with some cilantro leaves, but we also put cilantro leaves into the dish itself.
Yeah.
And remember, our potatoes and our cauliflower are not done. So what I'm going to do to finish this up is I'm going to add just a little bit of white wine. Speak out loud.
Want a glass? The boys are drinking.
Yeah, we're drinking red wine.
I thought that this wine, a white wine, would go good with the flavors in here. So
Yeah.
what I actually have, well, I'll pour some for Cheryl.
Thank you.
She's like, she loves
Thirsty. Thank you. That's good.
this is a wine from
Cheers.
from Prisoner. If you're familiar with that red wine, it's a
Oh yeah,
fantastic
I've had prison
red
wine.
wine.
Yeah.
So this is from the same vineyard, but it's obviously a white wine. The name of this wine is 44452.
Okay.
It's a batch, but it's a Chenin Blanc. It is, it kind of has honey notes, ripe peaches, cantaloupe, apple, and I'm reading this. She's moving it. Pineapple, and then has kind of a lingering finish, and it's a full-bodied Chenin Blanc. So I'm going to add just a little bit of this.
That's gonna be glazed too, right? That's gonna get your spices off the bottom of the pan and stuff.
According to our label, this wine tastes like plums and toasted oak.
And I'm going to turn the heat down, and I'm just going to let that finish in there for about 5 minutes. So
this
while we're doing that,
here, this tastes of rich grapes. Fermented over time, until it takes on alcohol.
Brilliant.
Can you put my? Put this on.
Okay.
Cheers, guys.
I'll take your wine.
But our house wine here, typically, at Nate's house, Sean's house, and my house, is this fine brown wine.
Yes, the brown wine from Kentucky.
The Kentucky brown wine. This is our kind of go-to. But, it's Sunday at 2:30 p.m., so
we only drank that a little bit before we got on here.
yeah, exactly.
I have hung with you guys before.
Yeah.
I know. We've had a few whiskeys.
All right. So
what's going on there with the bread?
This is the dough that has risen. I had to do this ahead of time, folks, because it needed a good hour and a half to double in size. This is a half a recipe. We should get about 4 to 5 non pieces out of this. So it's very simple. It's water, yeast, sugar, flour, egg, and some salt. And please don't forget the salt. Whenever you're making bread, it is, believe it or not, the easiest ingredient to forget to put into something.
Yes.
And your bread won't taste right without it. So I am just deflating it a little bit, and I'm just gonna give it a little bit of flour. Just make sure that it's nice and tender, well kneaded, bringing it kind of back together. All right, so, and you see that nice little spring to it. I always do my yeast with the sugar and the warm water for about 5 minutes, and it'll get all nice and bubbly and lets you know that the yeast is working. And what I'm going to do is just cut this into a couple of pieces here so that we can start forming our bread. We have a cast iron griddle ready to go. And it's a very simple application. I'm going to do 4 pieces. Just kind of get them in that ball shape. So I have a rolling pin, but my rolling pin's like 2 feet long. I'm used to making pizza dough or bread dough or different applications with it. When you do this, similar to when you're making like little pieces of dough that you're going to use for pot stickers or something, you really don't need that big of a rolling pin. We live in North Carolina on the beach, and we eat a lot of steamed crabs. This is what we call a crab cracker, and it just seemed to be the perfect thing for me to use to roll it out. So what you're trying to do is just get to about a 6-inch circle. And as you can see, I keep quarter turning it, and that helps keep the shape as much as you can from a circle perspective. And because it has had some time to rise, it is not too much. It is not as, it doesn't have as much of a tendency to pull back. Sometimes pizza dough has more of a tendency to argue with you if you don't let it rest a long time. So when I do my pizza dough, I usually put it in the refrigerator overnight. But with this bread, it just holds its shape, looks really good, and it's just super simple. What do I do with my paper towel? So what we start with is just a little bit of olive oil. I have it on low just to kind of heat that griddle. And this was my grandmother's griddle. Yeah, we find lots of use for it. And basically you just put it down. You let it go.
There is nothing better than an old seasoned griddle or a cast iron that has soul to it, man.
Oh my God. And the flavor, there's just nothing like it. Not at all. I don't like cooking without it in my life. But we're stainless steel people here for the most part. So about 2 to 3 minutes on each side, you kind of get a feel for it. You'll start to see little bubbles, starting to form. It'll look a little dimply. I do like to kind of keep moving it. Yeah, well, yeah. Kind of put me in the mind of a pita pocket, only you don't really get that clear-cut separation between the top and the bottom. Does that make sense? Right. Yeah, but see, now you can see it's coming along, and we're just going to stick with it for a minute.
That happens fast.
What was that?
That happens fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. What we learned when we were playing around with this actually last night is I would say lean on the cooler side of the griddle versus the hot side. Yeah. When we first tried doing it, we went real hot, and it's just easy to kind of burn it on one side, and we just kept it a little cooler, and
we're getting there. But we'll go cool, let it start bubbling, and then turn up the heat a little bit, and then go back to cool. Because the interesting thing is the side that's down will stay flat. It won't get these textures that you're seeing here.
Yeah.
And then when you flip it over, when you get naan, whether you buy it in the store or you get it at a restaurant, you just see these kind of burnt tops to those little peaks and valleys. And that's what happens on the side once we flip it over.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. And we're almost there on this side.
So you're basically going from raw dough to a fully cooked piece of bread in less than 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a quick bread.
It does not go in the oven. It's just going to cook on that griddle, and then we're going to eat it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I said before, you can cook it on the grill too, and get a little bit of grill flavor, a little smokiness to it.
I bet
flatbread on the grill is great.
So you see how much it's bubbled up? See how tall that is now?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah. And you see the nice little brown pieces on this side.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, it's great. And then there's a quick little application that we're going to do once it comes off the pan. And I really like doing it on the side that has the bubbles more so than the regular side. You just keep your eye on that. Let me just heat this up really quick. You see that?
That looks perfect. Oh,
yeah, we're almost there. And I took the heat right back down to low, so we're ready for the next bread.
I added a little bit of agave nectar to our curry. Typically, I would have used palm sugar, but I couldn't find any at the store today
Oh yeah.
because we live in Ohio. We have a really amazing Asian grocery right up the street from us, but they're not open on Sundays.
Yeah, that's a hard thing. I mean, sometimes when you're making specialty dishes, you really have to plan ahead.
Yeah, you do.
All right, so I can feel the air, so I know there's separation. Like I said, it's between 2 and 3 minutes per side. You just kind of have to feel what the dough is saying to you. So I'm actually going to take this off. And what we did, put that away, chill down a little bit. What we did, kind of as a way to season the bread, is we chopped up some garlic really fine and melted butter and kind of let that rawness of the garlic cook off a bit.
Yeah.
And then you just season the bread.
Why aren't we
And then
together right now? This is annoying.
The last thing I'm going to do, and this is not part of the recipe, I really like to crunch into salt. It's just a thing. I really appreciate that salinity. So that's what we do.
I gotta tell you, I'm on a flaky salt crusade.
Oh yeah.
Good crunchy salt.
Oh yeah.
Anything
A
without
finishing
flaky
salt.
salt.
You don't cook with it, you finish with it.
Exactly.
Hey, you know what, guys? This might be a good point for us to break to a video.
Okay.
How's that sound?
That sounds great to me.
So I think the first video we have is the lyric video for Good at Loving You.
Cool.
Sound good?
Sounds great.
Excellent.
Cheryl, I'm going to hand you this camera.
Okay. There we go.
Oh yeah, we do music too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It went from summer to winter in 3 damn days. Just the smell of the cold makes me wake up late. I need 3 open windows and 4 alarms. I guess I'll never be good at running a farm, yeah. But I'm good at loving you. Sometimes I think there's nothing else I can do. You know my heart is true. I can barely tie my own shoes. I'm good at loving you. Good at loving you. I ain't good at decisions, I can't make up my mind. I can't decide on dinner, so I'll start with wine. Never good at listening or doing what I'm told. loving you. Oh, I'm good at loving you, yeah. I'm so good at loving you. Good at loving you.
And we're back.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hey, I want to give
Anything
a
you
shout
want to tell
out
us
to
about
mutual
that
friends.
song and that video?
That was put together. The video itself was put together by our good buddy Paul Fallon.
Awesome.
Yeah. Love you, Paul
Well, I
Fallon.
think both of our dishes are pretty well done, right? Is your stuff?
Basically, our rice is just now done.
Excellent. In a minute. You want to go ahead and plate yours up?
Yeah, we'll plate ours up.
All right.
You want to chop some peanuts and some cilantro?
Where are the peanuts at?
All right. Just
Give me the nuts.
rough chop on some peanuts and some cilantro.
Is that a copper pot?
Yeah, copper nonstick,
Yeah.
That's gorgeous.
just in case we burn the rice, you know. Just in case we get to talking and burn the rice.
We recently discovered Carolina Gold rice.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes.
It is it's a lot. I was going to say it's a little more expensive, but unfortunately, it's a lot more expensive.
Yeah.
But also the way that you cook it is different. So obviously you cook it in a pan or whatever, but you actually give it way more water than you normally would, and then you strain it, which I'm not used to. I'm normally, used to just 2 to 1.
Yeah.
What, you want to flip around?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
So what's
no.
the ratio?
Well, the thing is, when the recipe that I use, hold on, we're going to flip the camera around here. It's funny, the recipe is called Carolina ice cream.
Yeah. I almost threw it away because I thought, I don't want ice cream. I want rice.
Right.
So it's just apparently in Carolina, South Carolina, in Charleston.
Yeah.
They have rice for dessert, so that's why they call it Carolina ice cream.
But to get back to your question, it's 2 to 1. So 2 cups of liquid to 1 cup of rice.
Okay.
Well, then the other part of it is when it's done, you put it on a sheet pan. First of all, you boil it with a lot of bay leaves, like 4 bay leaves, which adds great flavor. And then you lay it out on a sheet pan and you put it in the oven at about 325 and you cook it another 15 minutes in the oven. So you kind of dry it out after you boiled it.
Yeah, it doesn't make it crispy, but it does take some of that extra moisture because there's so much water to the rice. You actually pour it into a strainer and get some of that off before putting it on the sheet pan.
Interesting.
I know it is by far our favorite way to do it. That's exactly how we're doing our jasmine later. So
it almost smells like popcorn when you make it.
You ready for me to do this?
I'm kind of an apostle of Alton Brown. I just worship him, but he has told me that his method of cooking regular white rice or brown rice, you toast the raw rice in butter first.
Sure.
And then you boil your water before you add it. So I have a kettle on the stove, and I always boil my water now. And I add boiling water to toasting butter rice. Yeah. And I will never go back to regular white rice. But, jasmine and basmati is a little more delicate. So
yeah, absolutely. And actually, the Carolina Gold it gives me that similar delicate kind of feel to it that a jasmine does.
Nice. Well, you gotta text me that.
We will.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We will. I'm gonna pour
your
this
curry
into
looks
our bowl.
great. All right, I'm gonna flip the camera back around. Give me 2 seconds here. Give me a second. All right. So we finally have our ala gobi is, see, all of that wine has now been absorbed into it. So
Beautiful.
it adds just a little bit of tartness to it.
Yeah, incredible.
And we'll finish it off with a little bit of cilantro leaves.
You can't have too much cilantro.
Never.
But don't tell my mom that. She hates it.
She thinks it's soap.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so weird.
So that with the naan, and one of the things, I didn't have time to make my own chutney, but there's a company out of Virginia. They live kind of off the grid, and all they make are chutneys. And this is a plum chutney.
Yeah.
And when you think about the tamarind paste and that little bit of sour, similar with a chutney, you get that sweet, sour, fruit forward flavor. So we thought that would go along nicely with the naan bread.
Perfect.
But let's open one so you can see. There you go. Perfectly done. See?
Oh yeah, there's a pocket.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like a pita, but
Yeah.
you get that, but it's super tender, super soft.
That's
Yum.
awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, this has been fun.
It looks beautiful,
So
guys.
much fun.
Don't forget to take a picture of your dish.
Oh yeah, let's do it. I'll do that right now. Before I
So why don't we close things out with one more video? We have the full video for Lipstick.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about Lipstick?
So, Lipstick has been one of our favorite songs for a long time. And in fact, we actually took a very long time to record it because it was kind of a fan favorite that we played for years before we recorded it. And we wanted to make sure we were going to do it in the right way.
Gotcha.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So, you know, I'm really proud of the way it came out. But when we went to record the live studio version, we wanted to do something a little bit different than exactly what it sounded like on record, kind of capture that live atmosphere. And so we kind of rearranged it and did some really cool camera angles. Sean was there and helped us out a lot. And we had a buddy of ours plays cello, Sammy the Bull.
Yeah.
And so we did a kind of an interesting arrangement of it for the live acoustic video, and hope you guys enjoy it. And is that how we're closing things out? Should I sign
That's
off?
how we're going to close it out, except thank you so much. Wish we were there to share what we've made with you guys and taste that great dish you've made.
This is the perfect combination of things. We should be together.
Okay, well, come on.
Let's do a music festival together soon.
We should. Hey, let's get shots,
Okay.
and then we'll all get together again, and we'll do this very soon.
That sounds
love
great.
it.
Love you guys.
In the music. Love you guys. We appreciate everything, man.
Bye.
Thank you so
Thanks
much.
for all that attended. Really appreciate you taking the time out of your Sunday afternoons.
Yeah, nice to see you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm ready.
Now we're ready.
Go.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Don't know why I keep on promising myself that I will never fall in love again. Oh well. Making promises I only ever made to myself. And it feels like I'm not hurting, boy, you draw that final curtain on us. Feels a lot like love is just slipping away. Yeah, but don't let go. Don't let go. Your lipstick is on my pillowcase, and I'll just leave it to remind me of a time when you were mine, all mine. It seemed like yesterday that we were falling in love. Now you touch everything with that velvet glove. Breaking promises we only ever made to ourselves. And if it feels like I'm not hurting, before you draw that final curtain on us, feels a lot like just slipping away. But don't let go. Don't let go. Your lipstick is on my pillowcase, and I'll just leave it to remind me of a time when you were mine, all mine. I just wanted you to be, you're never giving up on me, and it ain't the end of the road. Oh no, everything will be okay if you just let me hear you say you won't let go. So don't let go. Your lipstick is on my pillowcase, and I'll just leave it to remind me of a time when you were mine, all mine. Everything will be okay, hey baby. It ain't the end of the road. Oh no, when you were mine, all mine. Woo!
That's our best yet, guys.
That was very good.